My TBR is out of control and I have lost count of all the books that are on my TBR. Okay, I don't know if 721 books is accurate, but it wouldn't surprise me if my TBR has hundreds of books on it. There are so many popular authors that I haven't read a single book by, and I call myself a fancy book reviewer. I need to figure out how to read faster. I thought I would make a video talking about some of the books that I'm most excited to read. I'm not adding any books that haven't been published to this list, just to narrow it down a bit. So let's get into it. Firstly, we have the Stormlight Archive. And before you ask, how can you be a fancy book reviewer without having read the Stormlight Archive? The answer to that is, I'm working on it. I read The Way of Kings in December and I really enjoyed it. And I've heard that Words of Radiance is even better. The world building and the characterizations were absolutely fantastic in The Way of Kings. And although the first 400 pages were a bit slow, it was definitely worth the read because the payoff is fantastic. I do feel bad not having read the series, especially since it's so popular and I am a fancy book reviewer, but the plan is definitely to get up to date with the series, hopefully in 2022. The only real thing holding me back is the page count for each book in the series, but I will continue the series sometimes in 2022. Next up we have The Rest of the Realms of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. This series has been absolutely fantastic so far. I read the Farsi Trilogy last year and loved it, and the Farsi Trilogy is one of my priority series to read and finish this year. I've already read the first 2 books in this series, The Life Ship Traders, so if I finish the trilogy early, I might continue with The Realms of the Elderlings later this year. There is truly no one that is able to write characters such as Robin Hobb. Hobb continues to win me over by her character work, and the writing is so beautiful in these books. It's no wonder she's called the Queen of Fantasy. However, these books are very slow, so if you don't enjoy a slow burn, then this series will probably not be for you. But if you do pick up these books, then be prepared to be emotionally damaged, because Hobb enjoys putting her characters through so much emotional torture. Then we have The Gentleman's Bastard series by Scott Lynch. I have heard a lot of great things about this series, and the only real thing that is holding me back from reading the series is the fact that it is unfinished. And we don't know when it will be finished. It's been almost 10 years since the last book in the series was finished, and we don't have a release date yet for the next book. However, from what I've heard from other people, then it sounds like this book should be right up my alley. There's a heist element to these books which I love, and I've heard that the friendships between the 2 main characters is iconic. I'm looking forward to reading this one, but let's really hope that we actually get a release date for the 4th book in the series soon. The Lycanius Trilogy. This is a series that is receiving a lot of mixed reviews, but my friend Patrick Leo absolutely loves this series and says it's one of the best trilogies he has ever read. The main criticisms are mostly that this series is quite confusing and there's a lot of moving parts, so Patrick recommends binge reading this, which I'll probably be doing. This series has been praised for its originality and for being very creative, which is one of the main reasons why I'm so intrigued by it. Also, these covers are so beautiful. I just love them so much. If someone ever does special editions of these books, then I will be all over them. The Nevernight Chronicles by J. Kristoff. I've had this series on my TBR for a long time, and I even own the UK hardbacks. However, there is one main reason why I keep putting it off, and it is the use of footnotes. Apparently J. Kristoff loves using footnotes in this series, and I just don't like footnotes. It usually makes the reading experience more clunky, and it pulls me out of the immersion. Moreover, the opinions about this series are very polarizing, but I did read Empire of the Vampire last year and absolutely loved it, so I need to give this one a try. If I don't enjoy it, then I'll just be selling my set to someone who will. Sorry for jumping in. Actually, since recording that video, I've actually read the first 80 pages of Nevernight and I didn't enjoy it. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to continue with that series, but for now, I'll probably DNF it. Then we have The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Leo. Please, if someone has the special editions of this series for sale, then please let me know. I really regret not purchasing these when I had the chance. But the reason why I have the series on my TBR is because I've heard that these books have riveting politics, and political fantasy is one of my favorite subgenres. Moreover, I believe that this is a Chinese-inspired epic fantasy which sounds so unique and refreshing. The 4th and the last book in this series is coming out later this year, which should give me an excuse for actually picking up the series. Temeraire, or His Majesty Dragon by Naomi Novik. A lot of people have recommended this series to me for a long time, and I've heard mostly great things about this series. I've been told that this is like an alternative history with dragons, and you know I love dragons. Also, Naomi Novik is one of those popular authors who I've just never come around to reading anything by. I'm a bit intimidated by this series since I believe there are 8 or 9 books in the series, but I don't believe the books are too long, so that is good. I'm hoping to give this series a try in 2022, but we'll see how it goes. The Broken Earth Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. You might be wondering why I haven't read anything by N.K. Jemisin, and the answer to that is actually really simple. I don't know. The Broken Earth Trilogy has won so many awards, and is even being adapted into a TV show or a movie now, so I definitely need to give the series a try. I even own the first book in this series, and it's just waiting to be read. Everyone seems to absolutely love the series, and N.K. Jemisin is one of the most prolific fantasy authors in modern times, so I really need to give this one a try. The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding. I haven't heard as much about this series, but the people who have read it all seem to absolutely love it. I've heard that it is like a classic fantasy with a modern voice, which is what I love to hear. The Faithful and the Fallen and The Bound and the Broken are series that also feel like classics but have that modern voice, and I love those series. I believe the sequel in the series will be coming out in 2023, so I will definitely be reading this. Also, I own a signed copy, which gives me even more of an excuse to actually read this one. The Winning Wing Flame Trilogy by Jen Williams. This series is gaining more and more traction, with Patrick Leo and Elliot Brooks having been ambassadors for the series almost for years. Moreover, the Broken Binding are now doing special editions of this series as a part of their sub, so I'm very intrigued. I love reading these series that can be considered as hidden gems, and this series kind of falls into that category. I don't know anything about this series, but I trust Patrick and Elliot, which is why I really want to read this series. Okay, I need to add at least one self-published series to this list because I love self-published books. I really want to read The Forever King by Ben Galley, which is a really popular Norse-inspired epic fantasy series. Ben was kind enough to send me 2 of his books, and he actually did sign them as well, and even sent me an enamel pin, which is really cool. I don't really know much about the series, but I often prefer going blind into a series, so that works really well for me. And there are so many more I want to read. I also want to read Elantris, The Heroes, I want to check out Brian Staveley, Josiah Bancroft, Mike Shackle, and if I were to mention all the books on my TBR, then this video probably wouldn't end. So these are some of the books that I'm really excited to read. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and a special thanks to my Patreons. See you in the next video.